trade shows show off a lot of interesting tech. From the stuff you might actually want, to things like AI pets that make you just think, why? And of course, you can't go 2 feet without seeing AI plastered everywhere. But every year, MWC does throw out some of the weirdest tech that you might not see anywhere else in the world. I'm Paul, and come with me as I take you through MWC 2026 to show you some of the best and the weirdest tech that I've seen so far. Let's start with the weird, and there is nothing like a concept. This is the TECNO Modular phone that is trying to make modularity a thing. TECNO has a ton of accessories for this, from power banks to action cameras and snap-on telephoto lenses. This can get a little bulky when you start adding all the modules to it, and it works a little bit like Pixel Snap, and you can start adding like 3 of these accessories all at once. And if you fancy, you can even add battery packs on top of each other. And you might need this because the phone only has a 1000 mAh battery. The reason for that is that it's only 4.9mm thin, so it's thinner than the S25 Edge. And this definitely is not the first modular phone, but just like all of those other modular phones, I don't think we're going to be seeing this in our hands anytime soon, but it's definitely one of the coolest things that I've seen at MWC this year. From one concept to another, and this is Lenovo's go. This is the Lenovo ThinkBook Modular AI PC concept. At first glance, this mostly looks like your normal regular 14-inch laptop from the front. Lenovo have a good tagline for this. It's carry small, use big. And once you turn this thing around, you understand that tagline because you've got a hidden display on the back of this. I don't know how much I would ever use this, but it could be useful for some people, like for sharing content when you're working. But what you can do is detach this and prop it up as a portable monitor for both portrait and landscape. You can even take the keyboard out and create your own unique way of working. And this laptop is modular, so you can even change the USB ports to anything that you might need. Remember, this is a concept, but this might be something that Lenovo could actually ship at some point, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do. Let's stick with displays for a second, and if you like pixels, then you might like this next one. TCL CSOT has developed something called Super Pixel. This is the world's first Super Pixel high clarity mode display, and what that basically means is that you get sharper text, cleaner textures, and a true edge-to-edge feel. If you've seen the Xiaomi 17 Pro Max at any point, now this is the exact display that you'll see on that phone. You get 1200 by 2608 resolution, 420 ppi, adaptive brightness from 1 to 2000 nits, and the bezels are as thin as 0.5mm. We see so much hype around display tech that we actually barely get to see, but this is something that is out and in phones that you can pick up right now. We'll stick with TCL for a second because you might have seen NXTPAPER tech before in the NXTPAPER phones, and this was always an LCD panel, but now what TCL has done is they have got this working on an AMOLED display. And what is impressive about the NXTPAPER AMOLED display is that it tries to eliminate glare completely, and I've got to say, this does a really good job. We've seen anti-reflective coatings on displays before, but TCL say this is the world's first anti-glare AMOLED display. And comparing it to a regular AMOLED display, you can see that the glare really is almost like not there at all. This display is everything you might need, like it has a variable refresh rate up to 120 Hz. Sticking with concepts and prototypes, this is exactly what this is. It is a prototype, so it's not on any devices just yet, but I feel like this is something that every phone in like the next couple of years could really do with having because it's very impressive. It's been over 3 years since we had a new major Snapdragon chip for smartwatches, but at MWC 2026, Qualcomm has finally announced one. This is the Snapdragon Wear Elite. As the name suggests, this is their most powerful chip yet. It's built on a 3nm process and adds hexagon NPU for the first time, which means smartwatches will be able to run on-device AI tasks using small language models. Charging is also faster, with Qualcomm claiming 0 to 50% in just 10 minutes, but that was on a demo watch. You're also getting Bluetooth 6, GNSS GPS, satellite connectivity, and ultra-wideband. Qualcomm hasn't told us which watch this will launch on first, but it's something that we need to keep our eyes peeled for and something that I am very excited for. When you come to these trade shows, I feel like there's someone always trying to sell you a robot that can do something, but Honor have got one that I actually might want. Honor have actually tried to create a real humanoid robot, but that is not what makes it onto the list. This is the Honor robot phone, and this could be something that I actually might want. Essentially what Honor have done here is that they have built a camera gimbal right into the back of the phone, and apparently, according to Honor, this is going to go on sale this year. So far, we don't know any specs about the phone or even the camera, and we haven't even been allowed to touch it. But the idea of this is really interesting. You've probably already guessed it, but this gives you ridiculously steady footage when filming, and it pops out and is ready to go pretty quickly. We've been doing this through hand gestures, but I don't know how else that you can activate it because, like I said, we haven't touched the phone yet. If you compare this to regular stabilization on phones, then honestly, this is next level. It's like having one of those DJI pocket cameras right in the back of your phone. I feel what makes this a little gimmicky is that it can dance to music and kind of nod at you if you ask the AI some questions. Gimmicky or useful. If this comes out this year, then I'll be very interested to see how this actually works in real life. If you think having a gimbal in your phone is impressive, how about having a 400mm lens attached to your phone? This is the Vivo X300 Ultra, and there are a few things that are really exciting about this phone. The first one being that Vivo is bringing this to all markets in Europe that Vivo are currently in. So I am really glad about that because we haven't seen an Ultra released globally for a while. Seeing Vivo add lenses and cages to their phones is nothing new, but what is new is the fact that now Vivo are going to be releasing a 400mm lens that can mostly fit in your pocket. It uses the same attachments as the X200 Ultra, and Vivo said that this phone is all about video first. I didn't get any specs of the phone, so no battery or processor, but what Vivo did tell me is that every camera on this can shoot 4K at 120 frames a second using the new APV codec. This means that it won't just be the S26 Ultra that can do this. Vivo think that this phone can replace an entire camera rig, and they even tried to show us this set up on like a movie set. And I don't know, I feel like this could actually replace a lot of cameras. No idea when we're going to get our hands on this, but it is coming this year. So I can't wait to get my hands on this huge rig. Let's stick with phones for a second and talk about one that you might actually be able to fit in your pocket. This is Honor's newest foldable, the Magic V6, and it shows up a lot of flagship style phones. I think one of the most impressive parts is the battery because it is huge for a foldable. It's 6,660 mAh, and unless you have an Oppo or a OnePlus phone, the chances are this phone will have a bigger battery than yours. It's the first foldable to be powered by the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5, and it's the only foldable to match Google's IP68 rating in the Pixel 10 Pro Fold, but the V6 also has gone one further with an IP69 rating. There's an anti-reflective coating on both displays, and I think that this might just be one of the best folding phones of the year, but bizarrely, this is still under embargo, so I can't tell you any of my thoughts on this phone just yet. You're going to have to wait for the full review. Sticking with phones, and this might be one of my favorites launched at MWC 2026, it's the Xiaomi 17 Ultra. The reason I like this one so much is that it's got some very impressive specs. It's running the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5, it's got a 6,000 mAh silicon carbon battery, and one of the reasons that it's on this list is because that green might be one of my favorite colors that I've seen on a phone in quite a while. It can't just win an award for having a good color because the best part of this phone is its camera. That main is a 1-inch f1.7 lens, but the star is definitely that 200 megapixel telephoto lens. I don't have any photos to show you in this video, but if you check out the Android Authority website, we have a full review there where you can see a load of photos taken for yourself, and honestly, you'll be very impressed with this. Next up on the best of MWC 2026 is one for you mobile gamers, because you might like this one. So this is the Nubia Neo5GT, and honestly, as gaming phones go, this is really not bad. This is one of only a few phones that have a built-in cooling fan. So there's no vapor chamber here, it's got an actual fan to keep the phone cool. Because it has a massive cooling system, it means that the frames when you're playing some pretty high intense games are stable. So no matter what you play, this is going to look really good. The phone's got 550Hz shoulder triggers, a 144Hz 1.5K AMOLED display, and it has 120 frames per second certification in some titles like Free Fire and MLBB. The battery's pretty decent for a gaming phone, 6,210 mAh with 80-watt charging. And you'll like this as well because it even supports bypass charging for that proper gaming experience. Of course, this phone has some RGB lights to give it that proper gaming phone energy. This isn't released just yet, but Nubia told me that it is coming very soon, so I'd keep your eyes peeled for this one. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever just sat there and thought, God, I wish my phone could start a campfire? Well, this next one, it can start a campfire. This is an Android phone that can literally help you start a fire. It's the Oukitel WP63, and it has a little pop-up fire starter which gives me the vibes of one of those old car ones. The idea is that this is a perfect camping accessory, so it can light a campfire or leaves when you're out on a trip. It's basically one of those huge rugged phones. It has a 20,000 mAh battery, a built-in USB-C cable so it can power other devices, and there's a loudspeaker which sounds fine. You get a built-in camping light which is very bright, and you can drop this phone from 100 feet and theoretically it should still be good to use. It's got a 128Hz display, 8 gigs of RAM, and how much it'll cost you is $599. I'm not sure that I would ever use this, but I'm sure someone out there somewhere will love it. Then if you do go camping, you're definitely going to want to know how to get there, and this next thing in the best of MWC 2026 might just help. I've been looking for a wireless Android Auto adapter forever, and the MA2 sounds pretty good. This is the successor to the MA1 released in 2022, and it now has a few nice upgrades. It now connects with 5 GHz Wi-Fi for Android Auto, and it uses Bluetooth for pairing and to reconnect. I think the biggest update here though is multi-point support, so that just means that you can have multiple phones, well 2 phones connected at the same time. There's now a physical on and off switch, an LED indicator that shows the connection status, which I think is very useful. This isn't released yet, but it is expected to be released in the US in Q3, and it should only cost around $40, which I think is a bargain. Up next in the best of MWC 2026 is probably, I think, the best mid-range tablet that you can get your hands on. I feel like Android tablets don't get too much love, but the Xiaomi Pad 8 Pro, for its price, I think is very good. It starts at just €549, and you get some pretty good flagship specs for that. Powering it is the Snapdragon 8 Elite, so it'll be more than powerful to handle games and bits of multitasking. The display is 11.2 inches, but it does come with a 144Hz refresh rate, and the bezels are tiny compared to even tablets like the iPad and the Galaxy Tabs. Having said that, it does look from the front very much like an iPad, especially when you connect it to that keyboard. It gives you a 9,200 mAh battery, which isn't huge, but what it does do is give you 67-watt charging, which can make up for the not massive battery. I feel like if you are looking for a mid-range tablet, then there isn't much else you really need to look at. I mean, the Pad 8 does look beautiful, and it pretty much gives you everything that you might need. And to finish off the best of MWC 2026, these are the Anker Soundcore Space 2. These aren't the most impressive headphones that you might ever see, and they're definitely targeted at that affordable travel headphone space. The standout though for the Soundcore Space 2 is that there is 4-stage active noise cancelling. It's also specifically tuned for low frequency noise, so think like if you're on a plane, you can't really hear those plane engines, same for trains, and even that constant cabin rumble if you are sat on that plane. And usually for headphones in this price category, they kind of struggle with ANC, but these do a really good job. I love the battery life on these as well, because you get up to 50 hours with ANC on and up to 70 hours if you turn it off. If the battery ever does run out, then a 5-minute charge gives you 4 hours back, which is very useful before pretty long flights. These are also pretty comfortable as well, with soft memory foam padding, and they're built for long listening sessions, so after a couple of hours you're not going to be thinking that these are hurting your head. These come in 3 colours and they'll start from $129.99 in the UK. If you want to know more about these headphones and get a pretty good review on them, then make sure you jump over to our sister YouTube page, Sound Guys, and you'll get everything you need from them. And that is a lot of what I saw at MWC this year. So much AI, lots and lots of robots, and just as many concepts. But I think that these are the things that actually keep tech exciting. Let me know what you think of our picks of the best of MWC this year. Let me know in the comments below. Before you head off, if you can subscribe to the channel, then I would appreciate it massively. And if you do that, then I'll see you in the next video.